our next showcase. It is our last showcase, and you'll be hearing from Stage One Financial. They all, thematically similar, focus on the accounting, finance, and reporting solution for investor-backed brands. We have Michael Tornatella. He is a partner at Stage One and will be joining us today. Michael?
Michelle. So to give I think I'm the only one going live the whole time today, right? So
it's fantastic, actually. And for a little bit of background information on Stage One, they have been a longtime partner and friend of Founder Maids. And so it's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great. So just to give a formal intro. So my name is Mike Tornatella. I'm the partner and head of finance, or FP&A, terms used interchangeably. I started at Stage One in the fall of 2017. So I've been with the company coming on 4 years here, and it's been an awesome ride. Our mission is really to provide a holistic, high quality and products, not only to educate, but to develop good processes and prepare our clients for future investments and eventual exits, right? I think that's the overall goal for a lot of our clients and a lot of us. It's eventually exit someday and move on to our next endeavor.
And then I'd love to actually know specialty areas, because I know you do a ton in the consumer product space, which is where we have a tremendous overlap, but would love to hear the breadth of areas that you're focused on.
Myself personally, or Stage One?
Stage One organizationally.
Yeah. So there's really three bigger pieces to the puzzle, and then a couple other smaller pieces, and I'll touch on those later, some things we're developing, but mainly focused on accounting, right? From your, normal closing the books on a month-to-month basis. And then from a finance standpoint on the FP&A side, so cash management, month-end reporting and commentary, demand planning, regular forecasting and budgeting, reforecasting monthly, budgeting on a yearly basis. So those are really the two big areas. We also support that with a group of CFOs who are aligned with both the accounting and finance teams to offer that level of support and some more strategic types of activities. And then we have a smaller tax organization and a business intelligence group, and I'll touch on that here in a little bit. That not only we offer those services, but also support those other functions.
That's great. I mean, and you also Stage One Fund, and we've heard about a ton of different alternate financing options. So I'm curious to know, just hear a bit more about the fund, stages that you guys are investing in, any deals that you've been in that you're able to share, just to
Yeah, that makes sense. So just keep in mind the Stage One Financial and Stage One Fund are two different entities, right? So, the fund is managed by a team, has a whole process to go through their diligence. Obviously, we do have some investments in the fund that are also clients of Stage One. But yeah, we go through definitely with all of our clients and our prospective clients, and that go through a pretty rigorous diligence process. And if they pass through many stages of that, we do offer up, funding from that side of the business.
That's great. And then you work with so many brands. What trends are you seeing from your perspective, and what categories you're seeing the most growth from? Would love to hear.
Yeah, it's been really interesting, and I think COVID has done some kind of really interesting things in the last 13 months or so. I think the brands that definitely had a DTC presence, right, as everybody sort of shifted from purchasing in person to obviously purchasing either direct through a website or through Amazon. Those companies obviously, stayed on course, had some gigantic growth. We had one of our clients, a smaller client that was, they sell hand sanitizer, both in individual bottles and in large dispensing units. And as you can imagine, they just blew up overnight and, went from very small to 10, 12x in revenue immediately. So as I touched on a little bit earlier on the mission side, right, developing good processes, we pivoted very quick in, not only from just scoping, getting the books closed and analyzing everything, but getting them into a good, developing a budget first off, and then developing a good reforecasting process, which then fed into their demand plan. And, obviously at the end of the day feeds into supply chain and cash. And it was a crazy couple of months, but so I think the ones that obviously had that presence, but that had good processes, were able to pivot, were able to survive through everything. And a lot of our clients actually grew at the same rates or even faster than they normally would have in sort of your normal environment.
Sure. You touched on actually Amazon, and this has been such a big conversation, obviously, and so many brands. I actually had a conversation even with Katie, and she was very passionate on the subject.
Yep.
She said, "Look, not every brand is right for Amazon." What can you share about what you're seeing broadly for the D2C strategy and where Amazon sits and how brands should really be thinking about that channel?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think there's a couple of pieces to it. One, if you look at it from a profitability standpoint, right? I mean, it can, I don't want to call it mistakes, but definitely sort of launching maybe a little bit too quick, or not kind of understanding what all your cost structure looks like. You've launched, you're selling a whole bunch of stuff, but you're losing money. So really understanding, not only am I selling it for double that I would normally, to a wholesale and wholesale channel, but obviously it's going to cost me to ship. It's going to have marketing fees. I have selling fees. So really understanding what the profitability looks like. And then some of the challenge on the Amazon side is trying to get the pricing down, and then bundling products if that's even possible. Where whether you're shipping let's say your AOV is $25 or $50, whatever the amount may be, for individual products, grouping those together, you're going to pay the same shipping charges at the end of the day. It's a flat rate. So bundling products together, driving up that AOV number, which drives up profitability. And I think you can see all the benefits from there.
Of all the channels, right? Because to your point around Amazon sometimes being just not profitable for your business, what D2C channels are driving the most bottom line value for your clients?
Yeah, it's, you can definitely be profitable both on the, just focusing on the DTC side, definitely both on, direct from your site or on the Amazon side of things. The piece that we need to work out, which kind of interesting, we've done a little bit of work behind this, is, a lot of times we'll see, digital ad lands. I go on the website, I purchase a product, I know what it is now. My subsequent purchases 2, 3, 4, 5 down the road, I now purchase on Amazon, right? So it's coming up with that correlation that I've spent the dollars on acquiring that new customer, right? But my subsequent purchases are now on Amazon, right? And if everybody's worked with, Shopify data, for instance, versus the Amazon data, one is very clean and easy to use, the other not so clean, and kind of coming up with that common denominator to kind of look at it holistically. A little bit easier said than done right now, but things we're looking at to, to try to put together to, validate that theory and look at it, sort of together from a customer standpoint and profitability standpoint. So hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm curious to know too. I mean, you look at so many businesses, especially in the consumer product space. Are there, thinking about path forward and thinking about innovation and thinking about what products and what themes you're seeing really take off, where are you seeing the most growth forward coming out of this pandemic from the standpoint of innovation?
Yeah, so I think we've definitely seen a lot of our beauty clients have really shown some unbelievable growth. Again, not only pre-COVID, but through COVID, and sort of as we exit slightly. So those have, definitely taken off. CPG side's, always kind of interesting, right? Is, how many folks are truly going to, purchase maybe a beverage online versus, a bar or a snack or something like that. So definitely the food side of things, of the food and beverage piece of this is, it can get kind of interesting, um, and our beauty clients have been the ones that have just exploded through the sort of pre-COVID, post-COVID, and where we are today.
Yeah, especially also nail care. I remember Katie was very excited about
No
it.
doubt. Yep.
Absolutely. Is
Yep.
there, shifting back into the Stage One financial offering, are there any new offerings that you are bringing to market?
Yeah. So a couple of things. One that exists today, and we're kind of putting some more backing to it and kind of putting it on steroids a little bit, is really our BI side of the business. So business intelligence. So more focused on the analytical side of things. I'll brag on us for a couple of seconds here, just around. We have a direct sync with Shopify, so we've been able to develop a lot of reporting with a lot of the key metrics that refreshes on an hourly basis. So our clients are able to go in and look at data at their at their wishes, at any point, look at the most updated and start to drive decisions there. So developing that some more from a kind of wholesale side of things, some sell-through data, whether that be from a distributor, whether that be from a Sephora, developing those, those types of reporting, again, to help with forecasting, to help with demand planning and supply chain, so on and so forth. And then the second piece is around what we're calling transactional services that we've just launched, which is really trying to get a little more efficient on our diligence processes. So as we've kind of gone through, we've identified that, X client needs cash in the summertime. We've budgeted, we've reforecasted. Now we're ready to kind of transition into getting the deck together, making sure it makes sense, making sure the story aligns with the numbers, and then kind of getting prepared for questions you're going to get during that diligence process, and just making sure our clients look good. And that's a new product that we just launched, and seen some positive returns on that already, and want to continue to grow that the next the rest of this year and beyond.
Thank you so much for walking us through here. So is there any final words of advice? We have 1 minute left in the session, and I want to make sure we're able to soak it all up.
No, that's great. Yeah, to cheat a little bit off the last gentleman, I caught the end part there. Yeah, I think definitely taking a deep dive into the numbers, analyzing them a little bit more, drilling down into profitability. So if you're involved, if you have different channels of business, looking at profitability between wholesale, Amazon, and DTC, drilling down and all the real costs that you can associate. So not just looking at it from a revenue and maybe gross margin perspective, but adding on how much does it cost you to ship it? Am I paying a broker? What kind of marketing and digital fees do I have? You have a merchant processing fee that you want to add on, right? And really looking at it at a very granular level and understanding where you're spending your money, how much you're making or not making, so you can make the right decisions. And more than anything, as that translates into kind of the capital raise side of things, one, obviously it makes you look good, and from that standpoint, build up a little bit of goodwill, but really allows you to understand how much cash do you need, how long is it going to last you, where are you spending your funds, and just looking at it from that standpoint.
That's great, Mike. Thank you so much. Is there a great place for us to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so my email is mike.tornatella@Stage1 Financial. If you go directly to our site, all of our employees are on there with our contact information and everything. Obviously, you can sign up there, get our information directly, and anybody feel free to email me at any point, and I will get back to you as quick as I can.
All right, Mike, thank you so much. Please send a special thank you to your team for supporting, to Katie and Jeremy. We love them.
Awesome. Will do.
We are going to